How pathetic can some people be?
Now, I quit drinking because I used to drink too much, and then I would black out, and I would ruin parties. Or so I'm told. When you do that enough, when you black out drinking and you do crazy things, you kind of become like Michael Jackson. Like any story anyone says about you might be true, and even you don't know by the end. I saw an interview with Michael Jackson before he died, and they were like, is it true you bought the Elephant Man's bones? And he was like, I don't know, because how could he keep track of that? So I would hear stories about myself. Here's a story I once heard about me. I guess I was 20 and I was at a party at someone's house and I blacked out drinking, and someone came out of one of the rooms at this party holding like an old antique bottle with some liquid in it. And they said, hey, is this whiskey or perfume? And apparently I grabbed it, drank all of it, and said, it's perfume. And it was.
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
They're partying down in Florida.
Yeah,
you would think, what?
Hurricane parties?
Why are they partying down in Florida? Yeah, apparently liquor stores ran out of supplies. Not only did they run out of water, food, ice, but they ran out of Captain Morgan's. Michael's Liquor and Tracy's Lounge in Suntree, Florida, told the USA Today that, yeah, we ran out of Captain Morgan's yesterday. So, I guess a lot of people are drinking.
So you got to drink Sailor Jerry's. That's what everybody's into now. I have a friend that is down there, and they lived up on the East Coast, so they were probably really happy that the hurricane went to the West Coast, and that's what they were doing. I thought they were going to evacuate.
They had a party?
They just boarded up their house. They said they couldn't see anything. Sounded like Armageddon outside, but we were drinking. I was like, yeah. Well, if you think you might die, do you want to go with a buzz? I think I want to go with a buzz. So. I want to cover that up a little bit.
So after there were many news reports of people like loading up their shopping carts with liquor and cases of beer, emergency management officials down there were like, just so you know, okay, like the Titusville Police Department, for example, they said, we want everybody to be alert, and that would involve restraint when it comes to alcohol. You live in Florida when devastation is on your doorstep, and the main goal of everybody there is to see how blotto you can get.
Well, here's the number one problem, all right? You should have evacuated. Like everyone, that everybody was sitting there, and as my friend said,
when you're drunk.
It sounded like it was Armageddon outside, but they couldn't see because they boarded up all their windows. They were thinking like, man, we probably should have. Yeah, we should have packed up the car. Maybe went away for the weekend. Maybe came back. Instead, what do? You go to the liquor cabinet. So if you were stuck in a situation like that, I'm all about it.
Some people were partying using the liquor. Other people were partying using the sex. There was a man in Jacksonville, Florida, who is not to be named, but he decided to take to Craigslist. He's a 50-year-old man. His Craigslist post reads as follows.
Creepy 50-year-old dude.
Oh, yeah, I did goatee.
Once you're 50 looking for sex, it's creepy.
This is why you got to drop the damn goatee, because he's rocking a goatee.
I'm not dropping the goatee.
And a super dope fly gold chain, okay? His Craigslist post reads as this. This very single Florida man has a healthy liver. I don't smoke or drink, but I am 420 friendly because, hell, times are crazy.
Looking for a nice 25 to 30-year-old. No. Does he specify what he's looking for?
Yes. He's lonely and he loves to cuddle. He always wanted to be with two women at once. So if you're fleeing the storm with a friend, ladies, hit me up.
We'll be right over, you creepy bastard.
Hit me up with some pictures and some phone numbers. Just want you to know that this isn't going to be long term. The hurricane should pass by Tuesday, so you must leave by Tuesday.
Come on, man. This guy's going about this all wrong.
You must dig goatees.
Yeah. Listen, if you like goatees and you want a safe place to hang out, then you should come to my place. I got plenty of food, water, and I can keep you sheltered. By the way, once you come in, you have to take all your clothes off. That's like the small print on the bottom. Because we survived naked. There was another story I heard that the naked communities, what do they call those? Naked camps?
Nudist colonies?
Nudist colonies. They were accepting people to take shelter with them.
Whoa. But it's in Florida?
But it's in Florida.
Well,
it's a nudist colony in Florida.
That's kind of dumb, isn't it? I mean, like, why would you be taking shelter in Florida if you're worried about the hurricane?
Well, it's northern Florida.
If you're from Florida. So they were driving from the south to the north.
Yeah. Northern Florida. And I was just thinking, like, does that mean you have to be nude? Or does that mean they'll be nude? If you're a nudist, do you stick with the nudist
I gotta give it to
during
Florida.
a hurricane?
I got to get to Florida. If we learn anything from these stories this morning, it's that they know how to have a good time in Florida. Okay,
Even during an F4
right.
hurricane.
F4 hurricane. Is it F4? Category 4. Category 4.
Yeah, F is the
Category 4 hurricane hits the peninsula, and they're like, "Go get me some Captain Morgans, give me some threesomes, and let's hit a nudist colony."
We'll get through this. We can do it. Andrew is nothing. Come on, Harvey. Or no, when Irma? They're drunk. They don't know.
I'm not, because we don't know what the state of Florida is going through as the sun is coming up there today, and they're assessing stuff that is going on. So I'm not going to give it to the state of Florida today. Normally I would. But today it's going to be the people who make their priorities. Captain Morgan's goatee guy with the gold chain. By the way, get rid of that goatee because he's close to your age. He's 50 years old.
Come on, I'm 41.
Still, get rid of the goatee. And if anything should tell you, this 50-year-old man tells you, and he's wearing a V-neck shirt that's black in color.
There's a lot of respected people that have goatees as well.
The nudist colonies for not having your priorities straight during a Category 4 hurricane. What's the craziest theme party that you've ever been to?
Theme-wise?
Yeah.
I think I went to a toga party once.
If I was in the hurricane, if we lived down in Florida, let's say we lived in Key West.
I don't go to parties like this.
And I said to you, and said, Jeremy, don't even bother trying to leave on US 1. Don't even try to get off the Keys. Let's stay here and ride this out. Stick around for my hurricane party. My hurricane parties are the best hurricane parties known to man. We haven't had one in 17 years because that's the last time a hurricane has hit us. But man, let me tell you, this is one for the ages because they only happen once every couple decades.
No, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm leaving too. Even though that's a long trek from Key West. I don't know. I might sit there and go, you might actually have me. If we're living in Key West, you might actually have me. I might be like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that traffic. Because did you see the traffic maps going out of Florida?
Oh, yeah. It was like stopped. It was just gridlock.
Every single road had red on it.
Yeah.
All towards the end of last week. It was every single road was solid red. That's a tough place to evacuate from. Now, think about getting back to it. Either today, tomorrow, sometime next week. That's a big pain. You're staying right it out in my party. There was one news guy I was watching yesterday. He was in Key West, or he was on one of the Keys. I think he was up a little bit more on Key Largo. But we're really splitting hairs at this point because you're talking about maybe 60, 70 miles. That's within the striking distance of the hurricane. And he's on one of the Keys, and these three kids are sitting there with this big bay window, and they're looking out there watching the storm go by, and he's sitting there in this concrete building with these kids. And he's like, how are you guys liking the hurricane so far? They're like, it's pretty cool. We've never seen anything like this because they're kids and the hurricane hasn't hit in their lifetime. And I'm like, why are you kids still here? Why are you kids still hanging out?
A lot of people wanted to stay back.
They ride it out.
They wanted to loot all the businesses. Did you see that?
Well,
sickening. It's so funny how the different aspects of a hurricane, you've got people dying. You've got the National Guard going in to save people. And on the same token, you have people breaking into stores and stealing things.
It's a different level of humanity.
it's like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It's every person for themselves. And it's just like, wow, you watch this stuff. And because, we have access to so much video now on social media, it's crazy. Why don't they build hurricane safe rooms? They build these for twisters, right? You build these bunkers underground.
I believe these kids were in a hurricane safe building, but they were on the second floor, which I don't.
Well, you got the storm surge. You got to be up high.
Oh, okay,
That's the thing.
Yeah, good
you
point.
can't build a bunker underground; it'll flood and you'll drown.
Great point.
That's what kills everybody. It's not the winds; it's the water.
Yeah,
it drowns people.
They were in this concrete building, and the guy, the reporter, was responsible enough to show how thick that the concrete wall was that they were in. It was like if you had cinder blocks, if you'd made the building out of cinder, that's what it was like. It was like cinder blocks. But he said it was solid concrete. So it was like they built it with like cinder blocks and then poured concrete into the cinder blocks as they built that's how it was built, I guess, apparently. But I was just like, still, but they are prepared for it because they have to deal with it on a semi-regular basis. Just like I would think the reason why you see no new construction or you see no old construction in a place like Tulsa, Oklahoma is because tornadoes have come through there and ruined everything every 10 years or so. So every new building's a new building. But it's crazy to me to think that you just sit there, you're like, all right, kids, come on up. We're going to watch this hurricane. We're going to have a little hurricane party. Adults going to be back here in the back room. You guys just go over there by that window and watch everything unfold. Everything just come on in. It sparked up the old conversation that I love to have, and that is, how prepared are we? My wife says, all these hurricanes and then the earthquake that hit in Mexico. There was a report that came out over the weekend that said that if that earthquake would have happened on the San Andreas Fault, that San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties would have felt they would have had the most damage from that earthquake hitting on the San Andreas Fault.
What year was your house built?
God, the 30s.
So, if she wants to do something about it, maybe you should move into another house.
So, but our rent's really good right now.
I know, you got a good situation. They're like, we'll roll the dice. Well, hopefully we'll get that 30-second warning and we can run outside.
She said, how prepared are we? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I know we built that earthquake kit 8 years ago. I said, yeah, I had to throw out all the food in it because it all went bad. All the
it's really a bad earthquake kit, isn't it?
Expiration dates.
Earthquake kits should last 20 years. How does it last a couple of years?
So what I did is after I threw out everything, I went and got one of those buckets. The bucket that has like the MREs and all that stuff. It's all self-contained.
We got some MREs here that guy dropped off for us.
I said we have the bucket out in the garage. I got to find it. It's buried about under everything else. But you know what? Maybe the earthquake would help move some stuff off of that, and then there would be the bucket right there, like a beacon and shining light. We have the earthquake bucket. She's like, well, I think you should go out there and check it. I was like, no, I'm not going out and checking the earthquake bucket. We will deal with it accordingly. She's like, I haven't seen matches around here lately. I was like, because nobody uses matches anymore.
What are you going to do with matches? Light a candle?
Light a fire?
Where? You don't have a fireplace.
Outside? And that's when I said, but we have the propane fire pit. We can do anything we want with the propane fire pit.
Until you run out of propane.
Yes. But we have big stockpiles of propane. We're fine on the propane front because we never used that damn fire pit that I had to have, ever.
You should sell it to me. I want a fire pit.
No, I got to be prepared for earthquake.
That's your prepared earthquake fire pit?
I have in the past cooked stuff on the on the propane fire pit. I now dubbed as the earthquake fire pit. In a pinch, take a grill, put the grill over it, and do a little camping. That's the only time I've ever used the thing. I just want to see if we can cook some hamburgers on it.
I'm going to tell your wife that you should set up a tent in the backyard just in case. It's your earthquake evacuation center. And you should have it all set up out there at all times. And that way, if you have an earthquake, you have a place to go.
And then I start hearing...
Because your house is going to fall down.
You know how like today, like right now up in Paso Robles, they've got thunder and lightning. We're getting reports of thunder and lightning. And then we've had thunder and lightning here overnight. And then you had it earlier on in the evening. Or earlier on last night. My wife, I swear, if I had a nickel for every time she mentioned the term earthquake weather. Earthquake weather.
What is that?
A made-up thing from people that live in California. I'm convinced.
What, yesterday was earthquake weather?
Yeah, yesterday was earthquake weather.
What, kind of hot and muggy and a little bit of cloud cover?
I don't know. I've heard anytime that the clouds come in and it's not windy or it's not brisk or it's not cold when the clouds come in. Anytime the clouds come in and it's still warm, that's earthquake weather. And people are like, you got to watch out. It's going to be earthquake weather.
Must be climate change. No, that's called monsoonal weather that we got from the tropical storm that came off of Mexico.
People are going crazy because there's hurricanes and then there was an earthquake. Kirk Cameron was down hosting a Christian music
award show
right, yeah. In Orlando, Florida. That must have been a raucous time.
Can they get anybody else but Kirk Cameron to do this?
I really don't know who you're going to get.
Could we get to do this?
Scott Stapp, perhaps?
No.
Because
too unstable.
He's been shunned by the Christian community because
he's had too many issues.
They'll welcome him with arms wide open, but they won't tout the fact that he's welcome arms wide open because we've got Kirk, and Kirk can never do wrong. So Kirk was preaching to everybody via Facebook Live from the Orlando airport, and he decided to quote from the Bible the reasons why Harvey and Irma have decided to hit the United States.
Here in God's Word and read to you from Job. In Job 37, God says through Job, He saturates clouds with moisture. He scatters His lightning through them. They swirl about, turning around and around at His direction, accomplishing everything that He commands them over the surface of the inhabited world. He causes this to happen for punishment or to water His land and demonstrate His faithful love.
What? Job saw a hurricane and then wrote it down and said that God created it to water the land.
Or exact punishment on those that aren't following His way. My wife started going down the Kirk Cameron road over the weekend. She's like, maybe this is God trying to tell the world something.
Oh, this is the end?
I'm like, no, hurricanes happen all the time. They happen all the time. It just so happens that we just happen to have two of them, very powerful, hit us. And now, in hindsight, not in all 100% certainty hindsight, because we don't know what Irma's doing because it's still going on right now as we speak. But still, as we sit here, we don't know what kind of damage has been done, but it seems like not what everybody has thought that it was going to do. Maybe that's because God decided to create something like the press and warning systems to drive people out of Florida so the death and destruction's not that bad. If you remember Harvey was not supposed to be as bad as it was. Then it dumped a lot of water, which exacerbated the storage system in Houston. Then they had to let the water go so the dams didn't break.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, I've talked to other people, and I've seen other people that think that that the end of time is coming. It's so funny over the weekend how many times you hear that. But hurricanes, you're right, happen every year. There's a reason they have hurricane season.
Yes,
and this was the peak. This is the peak of hurricane season, and it's something that we don't have to deal with here. And there are earthquakes in the world, and I don't know what to tell you.
An earthquake and 2 hurricanes happen in hurricane season.
Yeah, you got to just tell your wife to.
Is that reason for alarm?
You should take social media away from your wife.
I really should,
so she can't see it anymore because it's affecting her too much.
I don't know how to do that.
Some people can't affect it. Some people can't handle it. She's just affected by it too much.
She's so addicted, though. Here's the thing: is our Wi-Fi? It didn't go. So it went out on Apple products in our house, right? But it still was working on the. On everything else, everything that was Android based. And that's because I guess Apple's got some layer of security. When the Wi-Fi bounces in and out, it just shuts it down altogether. And she was continuing. She's got an iPhone. I've got an Android phone. She's like, is your phone hooking up to Wi-Fi? I was like, yeah, I have no problem with the Wi-Fi on my phone. And she's like, mine hasn't been. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe you should get off of it then because your data charges are going to, our data charges are going to go through the roof. So I keep getting these text messages from AT&T. You've exceeded your data charges. You've exceeded your data charges. You've exceeded your data. Finally, 4 times. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm just using my phone. She thinks that there's no repercussion. Our bill We had in added data charges on our last bill. We had over $100 in added data charges in our last bill because she's addicted to the internet. And I said,
sounds like you need an intervention.
I was on purpose because to limit her internet access, I purposefully let the router continue doing what it was doing.
What would happen if you took her phone away?
It was a very simple fix. All I had to go do is reset the router.
Yeah, I understand.
And then it would have worked again.
I get all this, but I'm just trying to help you with solutions here. What would you do if you took her phone away? What if it just went missing?
What would she do? She found out I did it. It would be divorce.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Well, then you got your hands full. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you do?
I
was like, this is perfect. Her Wi-Fi's not working. This means it will limit her access to the internet. No, all it did was cost us an extra $100. That's an addiction, right?
That is an addiction.
If you have something that you can't stop doing and it's going to cost you $100, even though you don't need to do it, that's an addiction.
Have you told her?
Yes. Believe me, this has been a conversation we've had.
What does she say? Mind your business?
Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll pay it. I'm like, well, our money comes from the same hopper.
No, you guys you have separate checking accounts.
We have separate accounts, but that doesn't matter.
That's where the separate accounts bite you in the ass.
Everything goes into the same
I tried
thing.
to tell you from day one, you don't do the separate accounts because now she'll feel like, oh, it's my money. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it.
$100 and damn.
You got to say, this is food you're taking out of your kid's mouth. So you can surf the Instagram.
Like, if the world truly is ending and cases of water become $50 a case, it would have been nice to have that $100, wouldn't it?
No,
because that would have bought us 2 cases of water.
Now you're gonna have to drink out of mud puddles,
shrivel up like a raisin.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.